You ever heard the expression, where there's a will, there is a way? Sometimes in tech, you'll hear people say, it doesn't matter how old the tech, there's an adapter for that. I'm gonna put that to the test today and show you guys a very long-winded explanation of how to get a 1960s, late 60s Air Force pilot helmet to work on an early 2000s MP3 player, on an aviation handheld radio, and on a computer, so that I can play Microsoft Flight Sim Maverick challenges while wearing a real fighter pilot helmet. Let's show you how to do that. So the first thing we need to know is the equipment we're working with here. Fighter pilot helmets, like even modern military aircraft hardware, uses low impedance, and it uses these MG14 plugs. So I need to take this MG14 plug, and I'm going to need an adapter to make it work with modern equipment, right? So back when I was working with helicopters, they used a similar plug to this MG14. We called them NATO plugs. But general aviation helicopters are high impedance, and military aviation equipment is low impedance. So if I wanted to use this on a modern GA aircraft, I would have to get an impedance adapter. Now, if I was working with helicopters still, I could get a MG14 to NATO plug adapter for general aviation so that it would work in a helicopter. But I don't work with helicopters anymore. Nope, I work with fixed wing aircraft. And fixed wing aircraft are a lot different than rotorcraft, because fixed wing aircraft uses this, a 2-pin system. So we're going to take this NATO adapter. I keep saying NATO adapter. It's not. It's an MG14. We're going to take this MG14, put it into this MG14 low impedance to high impedance adapter, so that I can turn it into a general aviation 2-pin setup. So in theory, once I plug these two together, pardon the bad camera ship, almost doing this one-handed is a challenge. There we go. And click. Now I've got this old military helmet set up to work with a fixed wing general aviation 2-pin system. One pin is for your audio, one pin is for your mic, the other pin is for your audio. So that would work in a 172 trainer. This might work in quite a variety of fixed wing aircraft. What happens if you have a 7600 situation and your radio is broken? What if you need to use this pin system to jack into a handheld aviation radio? Well, for example, we have a Pro X FT550 handheld aviation band radio. And to get this to work with this, I need to make these 2 pins merge into one 3.5 millimeter TRRS adapter. Well, luckily, Yaesu sells that. So this is a Yaesu radio adapter that takes general fixed wing aviation 2 pins and turns them into, look at that, a 3.5 millimeter TRRS plug. Hell yeah, now we're cooking with grease. So that goes into the radio. I took the screws out for simplicity. There are 2 screws that also hold this into the radio. We can take our general aviation pins, and I'm going to put you guys down for a second. And now we have our 1960s fighter pilot helmet via 2 adapters now plugged into a general aviation band handheld radio. Will it work? Well, we can certainly listen and see if we can get the audio. We're not going to transmit today because we are not working with aircraft currently, and we are not flying, so we don't want to accidentally transmit. But we can listen. That's perfectly legal. So we're going to go ahead and turn it on. We are not using the navigation system on here, so we're good. And there you go, static. Coming through the ear cups of this fighter pilot helmet. All right, we'll go ahead and turn that off. So that is a fighter pilot helmet to general aviation adapter to a handheld radio adapter, so that now this fighter pilot helmet will work with this airband handheld radio. But I promised to use this system to listen to music off my MP3 player. Well, you're in good hands, because it turns out I can do that. Now, TRRS 3.5mm jacks are long boys, and this has a 3.5mm jack on it. So in theory, I should be able just to plug it in and go, except this is longer than the 3.5mm jack this was originally designed to work with. So I could partly plug it in, leaving a little bit of room, and still listen to my music, but that's not really secure, and it could fall out, and that's just no fun, right? Well, what we need is a TRRS to TRS adapter, which I actually have. And so, yeah. And because this has got a weird bass to it, bingo, bango, bongo, now I have a TTRS going to, I said TT, didn't I? TRRS, excuse me, to TRS adapter, which means I can now plug this into my MP3 player, like so. My early 2000s Zune, and listen to Blue Man Group. Da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm just speaking so you don't hear the audio because it's potentially copyrightable. But yes, it works. I'm able to listen to Blue Man Group inside of my fighter pilot helmet. But what about computers? Well, we're going to set the MP3 aside. We're going to go ahead and unplug this adapter and the MP3 player. Put that over there. Well, you're in luck if you're using a modern computer, most modern laptops and computers, or if you're going to be like me using an HTC Vibe and you want to really play Maverick challenges while wearing a fighter pilot helmet. You're in huge luck if you have all this stuff, because you see, this TRRS adapter works in this system because this plug is a TRRS plug, and so is the TRRS plug on the backside of my overly built computer. So now I can play Microsoft Flight Sim Maverick challenges while wearing a real fighter pilot helmet and be able to hear the audio of that game inside of that helmet via the use of quite a handful of adapters. I could probably make this even simpler and buy a general aviation to 3.5 TTR adapter. I'm sure there's one of them running around out there somewhere, but they are kind of hard to find. And because this came with my Yaesu radio when I bought my Yaesu radio for work, it just makes life a lot easier. So now I have essentially a fighter pilot helmet that works with my computer, my old MP3 player, and can still be used with an aviation radio. How cool is that?